World War I, or the Great War, an event that directly sparked another tragic conflict for humanity, aka World War II. Love it or hate it, it's undeniable that World War I had pushed Germany to the corner and humiliated its own people. After Germany lost against the Allied power in World War I, Kaiser Wilhelm II had to abdicate and fled to Holland. Subsequently, a newly formed Weimar Republic, or the German Reich, was proclaimed in Germany on November 9, 1918, in the fear of imminent defeat, which sparked its revolution to bring an end to the monarchy. On behalf of the German people, the Weimar government reluctantly had to sign the armistice, and soon later, the Treaty of Versailles. The German people often called those Weimar politicians who signed them as November criminals, as they felt like their leaders had betrayed the people. The Treaty of Versailles required Germany to yield its overseas colonies, give up 13% of its mainland territory, reduce its armed force to 200,000, and pay a huge amount of financial reparation that was almost impossible to pay. Many Germans perceived this as a punishment towards Germany, rather than a peaceful resolution to prevent wars in Europe. Moreover, France also requested to demilitarize the Rhineland, mainly to use it as a barrier between them and Germany. During that time, the Weimar Republic couldn't keep up its payment to France. On January 11, 1923, French troops occupied Ruhr to exploit the resources to make up for their unpaid reparations. This particular incident provoked the anger in the German people, which drastically drove the support for extreme political parties across the country. The occupation of Ruhr and the internal instability had caused hyperinflation, high rate of unemployment, and the formation of countless extreme political parties either far left or far right in Germany. By 1923, one US dollar was more than 4 trillion mark. Seeing Germany in such a scenario, the US allowed Germany to loan its money through the enactment of the Dawes Plan and later the Young Plan, so they would be able to pay back the compensations that the Allies demanded. To put a stop to hyperinflation, Germany replaced Reichsmark with Renminmark, which temporarily saved them for a few years, bringing them to the Golden 20s, or Goldene 20 Jahre in German. An era lasted from 1924 till 1929, when the Weimar Republic had a relatively stable economy throughout the years. Wait, but I bet you're thinking that where's Hitler? And if it was going this well, why did World War II happen? Yep, in Vienna since 1907, Hitler was living in poverty. He was an ambitious man who loved history, arts, and poetry. Hitler's dream was to become a professional artist, so he took the entrance exams to the Academy of Fine Arts Vienna, but unfortunately got rejected twice, both in 1907 and 1908. In May 1913, Hitler received his father's estate and moved to Munich, Germany. According to many, it was believed that Hitler tried to evade the conscription of the Austrian army, but still, he was sent back to Salzburg for the induction to the army. However, he failed the examination and returned to Munich afterward. Not to mention, Hitler's German nationalism developed in his youth, seeing his birthplace borders Germany, and many there consider themselves Germans, so it was pretty reasonable for why he was a German nationalist. After going back to Munich, Hitler requested to join the Bavarian army and managed to serve in it through errors of the system. Many officials questioned why Hitler's Austrian citizenship got him through, but later it was confirmed that Hitler's matter was not raised, hence his enlistment happened smoothly. During World War I in France and Belgium, he described the war as the best year in his life. Hitler often expressed outrage when seeing his fellow soldiers committing prostitution and other immoral acts. He believed that those actions were ruining the pure and sacred German race. Hitler was a brave soldier. He was decorated for both the second and first class Iron Cross, which was pretty rare for a gift writer or a lance corporal. In the Battle of Somme, Hitler got injured by a shell explosion and he got hospitalized for 2 months. While being hospitalized, Hitler couldn't accept seeing his friends fighting in the battles, so he wrote to Hauptmann Fritz Wiedemann requesting to join back. Then he returned on March 5, 1917. Again, on October 15, 1918, Hitler was temporarily blinded due to the British mustard gas attack. During his treatment, he learned the defeat of Germany in World War I, and it was also the time that he decided to become a politician. After the war, he still worked as an informant for the army, mainly to infiltrate the German Workers' Party, or the DAP. After realizing the party's ideas suited him well, he left the army and attended honest meetings, and later joined them. His oratorical skill impressed the party leadership and Anton Drexler, so he was appointed to be part of the committee and was responsible for propaganda and recruitment inside the party, as well as giving speeches and holding rallies and meetings. The party also changed its name from German Workers' Party to National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi for short. Hitler also formulated the 25-point programme. The programme was mostly based on the ideas of racial superiority, a call to abandon the Treaty of Versailles, and the expansion of the German fatherland. Hitler wished to bring an overhaul to the party under his absolute control, but his proposal was rejected. Hitler resigned. However, the Rector knew the loss of a great speaker could potentially ruin his party, so later he had to accept Hitler's demands. Then, on July 29, 1921, Hitler officially became the chairman of the Nazi Party. The party originally held nationalist, racist, and anti-Semitic views. Upon his promotion, Hitler started to expand further his marketed ideas. According to his belief, the pure Aryan race is always superior to any other race, so all other races that do not fit into his category were considered quote-unquote asocial. Hitler's policies revolve around his expansionist ideas. Lebensraum, literal meaning living space, imply that German people need more space for their pure ethnic race. Also, to provide better security, Hitler, Ansrum, and Emo Morais established the SA, or the Sturmabteilung, a group of unofficial thugs and foreign military personnel that intimidate all the political parties and protect meetings and rallies of the Nazi Party. To polish the reputation of the Nazi Party, Hitler decided to initiate a coup, aka Beer Hall Push, on November 9, 1983. Approximately 3,000 Nazis marched in the city center of Marienplatz and confronted the police. The coup was suppressed after the police fired at them. Hitler was wounded and escaped to the countryside. Still, he got arrested afterwards and charged for treason. During his 24-day trial, Hitler made speeches about his views on anti-Semitism and the racial superiority of the Aryan race. However, he was still sentenced for 5 years for his action, but only had to serve for 9 months, giving him the time to write one of the notorious books, Mein Kampf. In December 1924, upon his release, Hitler focused on reforming and rebooting the party. From 1924 to 1928, the party was still relatively unpopular and basically stood no chance against other bigger parties like Social Democratic Party of Germany or the Communist Party of Germany, and etc. But the table was turned when the Great Depression kicks in. After the Wall Street crash, the United States sought its loan back from Germany. The Weimar's economy suffered heavily and crumbled. An already languished economy now had to face huge debts and rapid increase of unemployment, which infuriated the German people. Hitler exploited this and promised that he was the only one who could bring Germany back to its former glory. By this time, the people had lost their trust in the government, and many joined the extreme political parties in order to bring a radical change to Germany. The Nazi Party seats in the German parliament, or the Reichstag, grew from only 2.6% in 1928 to 18.3% by 1930. In 1932, the Nazi Party was the biggest party inside the parliament to become an absolute dictator. In 1932, Hitler ran for president but still lost against Paul von Hindenburg, a famous field marshal of the German army. However, after a few political instabilities and the uncompetitiveness of the German chancellors and the fear of the rise of the communists, on January 30, 1933, Hitler was appointed as the Chancellor of Germany. On February 27, 1933, the Reichstag was set on fire. This particular event still remained unsure who actually did it, but Hitler accused that the communists were the culprit. Hence, Hitler convinced Hindenburg to issue the Reichstag Fire Decree to suspend civil liberty, as well as ruthless confrontation against the communists. After that, communists were sent off to concentration camps, and a year later, Hindenburg passed away, giving Hitler a perfect chance to become an actual dictator in Germany. On March 23, 1933, the Enabling Act was introduced by Hitler's cabinet. The act allowed Hitler to alter the constitution and enact new laws without the interference of the German parliament. For the next 4 years, the act was approved, since up to 444 people voted for it and only 94 voted against. Yet Ansrum, one of the leaders of the SA, wanted his army to take over the regular job of the German armed force. However, Hitler wanted to keep the well-trained and professional army under his control rather than keeping the SA. So on June 30, 1934, also known as the Night of the Long Knives, Hitler got Ansrum and his political enemies murdered. Many were killed, even those who sided with Hitler during his first times. The army was now fully under the control of the Führer Adolf Hitler. The Hitler Youth was created to brainwash the German generation. Countless of anti-Semitic and communist propagandas were created. The SS was responsible for arresting anyone who had different political views against Hitler. Thousands of concentration camps were created, and millions were killed in it. Germany's fragile democracy had given Adolf Hitler the opportunities to exploit the resentment of the German people, and subsequently sparked another tragedy for humanity, also known as World War II.